Welcome, everybody. So lovely to have you here. And welcome to everybody who is going to be watching the replay at home. I'm so excited that you are taking time for yourself, because today's class is all about getting your groove back and feeling your mojo come alive again, making sure that you are, getting that sense of yourself that I know so many of us have lost in the last, I was going to say 6 months, but maybe 2 years, right? That feeling of understanding, what's working, what's not working, being able to change things, being able to make plans and continue, on those plans and actually get stuff done. They're, all distant memories. And that sense of control that we're missing, makes us feel a little bit rickety, makes us feel a little bit shaky and not our best selves. So when I was brainstorming with the fabulous Tanae, who is from the Strategy Studio, she helps me with all of my Simply Stacey Morgan work. We were strategizing and thinking, how's everyone feeling? What's going on? What's the general vibe? And the first thing I said was tired and exhausted and really feeling it. And Tanae's a mum and I'm a mum, and she agreed she was feeling the same way. I was feeling like that too. And so we thought the perfect pick me up for this time of year and for this season of our lives would be to put something together that helped women get their groove back, helped women get their mojo. And we threw around a couple of different words, and I do love the movie When Stella Got Your Groove Back. So that's what we settled on in the end. So I appreciate you being here. And I'm excited that you're taking time out of your busy, busy lives to be here, to invest in yourself, to try and get that sense of self back. And I want to start by saying that it's not going to be, an hour with me and then ta-da, you're going to click your fingers and feel amazing and ready to go and attack the world. I think about this as kind of a slow burn. We're going to talk about some things that you're going to implement over the next week or two. And I hope that with the implementation of those things and hopefully a little bit of change of mindset, you will end up getting to the other side of this. And before you know it, you will start feeling yourself again. And then you will go, oh, okay, that, there won't be a light bulb moment, but hopefully there will be a moment where you go, okay, all right, I got there. So don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. The feelings that you're feeling are completely real, and it's okay to sit into those feelings. But when you're ready to get your groove back and to jump back on in, then I'm hoping that the strategies that I share with you today are strategies that you can take on board, you can implement in your own lives. Hopefully they will work for you. And then you can also share this information with your girlfriends and other people that you know. So welcome. My name is Stacey Morgan. I'm a Business Made Simple coach. I work primarily with mums in business, mums running their own business and juggling the growth of their business along with nurturing their families. I'm the owner of, I was going to say 3 successful businesses because that's my tagline, but I've just purchased another business. So I have 4 businesses, and I'm not quite ready to say 4 successful businesses yet because I've only owned it for 2 months. So it is a very successful business, but I can't claim that because the previous owner did a beautiful job. So let's say I'm the owner of 3 successful businesses and 1 very new, exciting business, which is keeping me very busy. And what I feel like I bring to this space is that I'm in the trenches with you. I'm not just talking about what it would be like to run a business. I'm actually in the trenches, running the business, leading my team, working through the challenges of nurturing my family as well as growing my business. And if you're in the same boat, then you are in very good company. And so welcome. We're going to start with a bit of a brain dump on how you're feeling. So if you've got pen and paper handy, that's going to be, perfect. And if you don't, I'm going to give you some time to run away and get some, because if you're feeling all the feelings that I think you're feeling that led you here, then you're going to want to get it out of your brain, right? We have spent a little bit too much time talking about the reasons behind the feelings, talking about why things are working and things are not working in our world. And today, I really want you to kind of just get that out of your brain so that it's not sitting there anymore. These are the thoughts, these are the things that are buzzing around in your mind when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you can't get back to sleep. All of these thoughts, I want them out of your brain, out of your psyche, and onto a piece of paper that you have in front of you. So if you have some paper, I'm going to put on a song for you to get in the vibe, and then hopefully you can kind of dump out everything that's in your brain, and then we'll start with a clean slate. Does that sound like a really good way to start? I hope so. Now give me a moment while I just figure out where on earth I put my phone when I walked into this room. I thought I was so organized. Oh, no. Losing my mind, I am. So no music tonight. It's just going to be me talking. I'm going to put a timer on. You've got 2 minutes. Brain dumping all the things that are in your mind. Barb says, can I sing? Oh, Barb, I don't want to put anyone through that. I've always been a dancer / singer. I can give it a crack, but no one's hiring me for my vocals. So the things we're thinking about could be things that are on our to-do list. They could be phone calls that we have to return. They could be the emotions that are swirling around inside of us. They could take a little while to come out and to articulate exactly what that feeling is. It could be those, sensations that you're getting when you do pick up your to-do list in the morning, when you do look at your calendar, when you do see the phone ringing and see, the number of a person you really don't want to talk to. What are all those things that are swirling around? Get them all out of your system. There you are, Barb. Gorgeous to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. And perhaps at this stage, now that you're writing out these words, you're kind of articulating exactly what those feelings are inside. Perhaps you have some reasons as to why you're feeling those feelings, why things are going really well or not so well in your world currently. Add those in as well, so that hopefully you're the only person that has to make sense of this. I'm not going to make you share any of it. I'm not going to make you, post a photo of what your page looks like, but I do want you to work through the process. So have a think about not just what's on your mind, but the reason that could be on your mind. Okie dokie. The purpose behind all of the little tasks I'm going to be giving you tonight is to take you from this feeling of overwhelm, this feeling of uncertainty, this feeling that things are out of control, this feeling that you're not, feeling exactly like yourself, like things aren't, all lining up for you and going your way. Hopefully getting rid of those feelings and taking you to feeling like you are in control, like you do have, pockets of joy in your world that can be celebrated. Because I think sometimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling burnt out, we forget about those pockets of joy and the small things that happen in our world that are really, really important. And so it's my hope that by the time that all of this sinks in and you get the opportunity to process some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, that you will be feeling like you can run along the beach with your arms out, like you're about to, piggyback your children through the woods and all of the cliches that go with it. Let's talk about the 3 strategies. These are the things that have been working for me. So as a little bit of background information for you, if you haven't been following me on socials, and I'm pretty transparent with what's going on in socials, and I've been a bit emotional lately if you've been following my Insta story. For me, I went through the Christmas period feeling pretty good. Things were okay. I got COVID. I wasn't feeling so good. I had to isolate. I really wasn't sure how I was going to pick myself up and keep moving out of that process because I did feel pretty lousy. Unlike some people who had absolutely no symptoms but tested positive, I had every symptom under the sun, and it wasn't pleasant. And so feeling like I'd been inside, I'd been locked up, I wasn't able to work or to exercise or to go outside or to go and get a coffee or any of the things that I enjoyed. I wasn't able to take the kids to the park and do any of that fun stuff. So I was really feeling stifled. So I had to really figure out a way of, picking myself up and moving forward. And that went, kind of well first time round. I was out for a couple of days. I was feeling good. We were back in the studio. It was good to go. And then Lucinda got COVID, and then I crashed, probably even bigger than I crashed when I had COVID myself, just because it was so unexpected. And because I'd done all of this hard work to pick myself up and dust myself off and be feeling good and, out there to attack the world, and then kaboom. And so I was, stuck isolating with her again. And that really took its toll on me. So I really had to work hard to then pick myself up and go again. So the strategies I'm going to share with you are actual tangible things that worked for me during both of those times. And it's like they've been, double tested. When they talk about the clothes that you buy at Target, how they, triple test them on the children and get them to run through puddles and climb the monkey bars wearing the shirts. That's how I feel about these strategies. I feel like they've been double tested, because not only did I have to pick myself up the first time, but then I had to go ahead and do it again a second time. So I'm hoping that these things are going to help you feel like yourself again. The first thing you need to do is to be able to free up some time. And that's easy to say, right? Oh, time. Okay. Yep. No worries. I'll just grab a pocket of time and I'll, go and sit on the couch and drink a Fanta. That's not realistic, especially in the busy world that we live in. So you have to actually be conscious about how you're going to free up some time and how you're going to use that time that you have. And I feel like a bit of a broken record when it comes to time and time management, because I absolutely swear by time tracking and how time tracking can free up time for you and give you time. So apologies to those of you who are watching who are thinking, gosh, this Stacey bangs on about time tracking every time I catch up with her. And I do, because it works. So downloading your own time tracking sheet and figuring out where you want to spend your time and where those pockets of time are is going to be so valuable for you, because there's nothing valuable about spending 45 minutes scrolling on Instagram. There's nothing valuable about, sucking that time away on social media, or sucking that time away watching another episode of Friends, even though you've seen that episode 4 times, but you just needed something to sit down and kind of have a moment with. There are pockets of time in our world that if we're conscious enough about how we're spending our time, then we can find those pockets of time to do things that are going to be great for us and things that are going to help pick us up. So the first thing is figuring out where that time is so that you can use that time well. And, in any of my other sessions, I'd be talking about, let's find some time so you can get more work done. Let's find some time so you can schedule those social media posts, but not today. I want you to find time to do things that light you up. I want you to find time to do the things that make you feel good, that get you excited, that you bounce out of bed to go and do. And for that, for all of us, they are completely different things. And it might be scheduling social posts. And if it is, all power to you. But it's really important that before you think, okay, gosh, I would do anything for just a bubble bath alone for 40 minutes on my own, that you know that time does exist. We just need to be conscious about how we're going to find it. So if you don't already have access to a time tracking software or to a spreadsheet that you can mock up yourself, you can download great spreadsheets at lauravanderkam.com. Laura Vanderkam is one of my favorite authors. She's like the queen bee when it comes to managing your time and managing your time with a big family. She's got a big family. She's very transparent on social media as to how that all works. And I love and adore her. So download your own at lauravanderkam.com, or just take a photo of the one on the screen and you are more than welcome to use that. And let's have a think about what 2022 looks like for us. Because I think for me, especially during that time where I was not feeling great and not feeling like myself, I was not organized when it came to my 2022. I was just thinking, I will get to that when I get to it. And I wasn't prioritizing it. So what I want you to do is, once you've tracked your time, I want you to think consciously about where you would like to spend your time. And I want you to take your worksheet and I want you to get some colored markers, and you can do it right now with the piece of paper that you have. You can just draw a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way through to Sunday, and draw a couple of, pointers in terms of the time. You don't have to write every time down, but you can do a 9 a.m. and a 12 midday and a 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I want you to fill in the things that are non-negotiable for you. I'm not here to tell you, okay, what you need to do is you need to work 20 hours less a week and you need to, go and get HelloFresh for all of your meals or anything like that. I'm here to make you consciously be able to see where the compulsory things in your life exist and where there's wiggle room around those. So start with your work hours. If you know you're going to be in the office for a certain amount of time, put that in first. Then put in meals. We all have to eat. We all have to eat at some stage. I've got snacks just here to the side because I've come straight from teaching and I'm going straight to all the child put down after this. So, where are you going to eat? Put those meals in, because that is really, really important, and something that is, food is mood. So you always want to make sure you're having time to be fueling your body correctly. You want to put in your sleep, and sleep for me is non-negotiable. I have to have 8 hours or I'm an absolute nightmare. I used to work in breakfast radio and I very rarely had 8 hours sleep. And the kind of things that I've said to my co-host are things that still make me cringe when I think about them. So I know how important 8 hours of sleep is for me. And so it might be 8 hours for you. It might be 10 hours. It might be 4. Whatever works for you, block that out on your time calendar. And then if you've got kids that are running off to activities, perhaps things that can't be moved, they've got swimming lessons, they've got gymnastics lessons, they've got dance lessons, whatever they've got, make sure that that is in the schedule as well, because that is stuff that you've organized, you've spent the time doing it, the kids love it, it's important for them, stick it in the calendar. Now I want you to think about the things that would be nice to have. So would you like to go for a walk on the beach one day a week? Would you like to go take yourself out for breakfast one morning? Would you like to go early to bed one night so you can have a sleep in, but in reverse, right? You go to bed at 8 o'clock and then you get up at the same time in the morning, but you've had an extra hour's sleep or an extra 2 hours sleep. Evan. And then, I want you to think about what would be nice to have in terms of help. Would it be nice to have someone else to do school pickup for you one day a week so you didn't have to rush away from the office? Marguerite's going, yes, yes. Because that 3 o'clock comes around pretty fast, right? You blink and here it is again. Blink, it's 2:45. Blink, it's 2:45. So would it be nice to have somebody else to do school pickup one day a week? And then I want you to think about the things that you would need to do in your world, the things you would need to sacrifice, the things that you would need to organize in order to make these things happen. And I don't want you at this point to roll your eyes and say, well, yes, that would be nice. That's nice for other people that they can go for a walk on the beach, but that's just not something that I can do. Have a look at your time schedule. Have a look at what works there and think about how you would need to organize that. Is that something you say to your partner? Look, what I need is 20 minutes where no one talks to me every morning. What I need is to be able to take myself out for breakfast on a Thursday. What I need is on a Sunday afternoon, 3 hours just to get the washing done, to get myself organized for the week ahead and to do some meal prep. What are the things that you know that would be great for you if only you would be able to ask someone to help, or to ask someone to help hold you accountable, or ask for assistance and make that stuff happen? And is that a mindset shift for you? Is that something that you've always said, well, I can't possibly go for a walk on the beach of a morning, but is it actually possible? And if you had that mindset shift of, okay, this is something I do now, I'm somebody who walks on the beach. And if you're looking for a great book to read, Atomic Habits by James Clear talks all about this. You want to become the person that does that habit, not just do the habit itself. You want to become that person. So if you can have that mindset shift of you are the kind of person that, spends 2 hours every week working on the growth and strategy of your business, you are somebody who takes yourself for a walk on the beach, then that is something that you can make happen. And you can do that. You can do it right now. You can do it tonight. You can come up with a plan. You can go ahead and organize it. You can tell the people, because, there's going to be people that are involved in this. It's not just you getting out of bed and going for a walk on the beach. Your whole family would be like, where did she go? What happened? You're going to need to talk to people about it. You're going to need to plan it and organize it. And you can do that tonight. And it could start tomorrow if that was what you wanted to do. So have a think about 1 or 2 things that you would really love to do and really love to make part of your weekly schedule if only you had that mindset shift, got yourself organized, asked people to help, reached out to people and said, this is what I'd love. Please help me do it. And I encourage you, let's do it right now. Let's figure out what it is. So whilst I continue to talk, write down those things that you are going to implement, those things that you're going to bring into your world. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. I'm not going to be bossy about it, but I encourage you over the next couple of weeks to think about how you can start to implement those things in your world. Is it somebody else doing school pickup? Because that would be heavenly. And I'm sure there are people, other kids in your child's class, family members, friends, paid help, somebody that could go and do that for you. An USH service that picks them up and gives them a snack and takes them somewhere else so that you get an extra hour. Those things exist. Those things are out there. And it's okay for you to go ahead and make that happen. It's okay for you to get organized, put those plans in motion and make them happen. And the final question I want you to ask yourself is, what's stopping you? So what is the thing that is the roadblock in the road? Is it mental? Is it, okay, well, I'm not going to put my child on the USH bus to go off because I'm the kind of mum that picks my child up 5 days a week. And how about you unpack that for yourself and what exactly that means to you and why that is important? Is it that, I'm not going to go for a walk along the beach because, the people that are walking along the beach, they're only the retirees that have got plenty of time, and I don't have plenty of time because I'm very busy and important. And let's unpack that for you. And, how much of your identity is linked to the being busy and important. And this is not something we're going to do on chat, and I'm not going to open it up to for you to jump in and tell me all your worries and fears. But I do want you to think about what those roadblocks are, because often those are the things that if we just tackled that, the rest of it would happen and you wouldn't really have to think about it. So I encourage you that if this is something that you're looking at and you're still kind of rolling your eyes and shaking your head and thinking it's not possible, it is possible. Let's figure out what those roadblocks are. This is what mine looked like last year. I do have one for this year, but I'm not quite happy with it. I'm still tweaking it because we're only in kind of week 3 of term. So I am still working on it, and I will, of course, share it with you if you would like to see it later on. But this is what our days look like. And, the color coding works really well for me and in our family. And a copy of this sits above my toaster in the kitchen. It sits right here next to me on my office desk. I've given Heath about 15 copies. He loses them. That's just how that works. I just keep handing them out and saying, don't forget. And then, for me, it's a mixture of color and of also text. If I just colored the whole thing in, Heath would look at it and go, what is that? Whereas, if I've written Heath is on breakfast, then he knows that as soon as the kids are out of bed and whinging for breakfast, that he's on breakfast. So you will notice that he's on breakfast a whole lot more than I am. That will tell you everything you need to know about me getting my 8 hours sleep. So the tangible takeaway for this first strategy is to print out multiple copies of your worksheet, track your time, plan your time, be conscious about where you're spending your time, write out what your ideal week looks like. And does it include a bubble bath on a Friday night or reading a book for an hour on a Saturday afternoon? Oh, heaven. Put those plans in place to make it happen and then report back to us. We have a great Facebook group, How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. I'd love you to jump in there and tell me what's working and what's not working for you. Or you can always send me a DM on Instagram if you don't kind of want to publicly share what's not working in your world with everybody on the internet. I completely understand that. Strategy number 2 is to move your body. The irony that I'm telling you to move your body, and I say that I'm a dance teacher, so I should know how to move my body, but exercise and Stacey Morgan have never really been friends. I loved dancing when I was growing up, and when I stopped dancing for some ridiculous reason, because that's what you do when you became an adult and people started going to the gym, I thought, oh, yuck. It's not for me. However, I have found ways since then to move my body in ways that I love, in ways that actually bring me joy, and not in ways where I would just, feel like I was being tortured. And I wasn't alone. When I worked at the Royal New Zealand Ballet, my boss who was also an ex-dancer, I guess felt the same way about the gym as I did. And he walked into the gym one day when I was on the treadmill and I was just like pacing with this awkward look on my face. And he just went, and I went, we just had this mutual moment of us both just not being happy with being in that building. So I encourage you, if you feel like that, I want you to make a conscious effort to think about something that would bring you joy. when it comes to moving your body. And that can be as simple as, laying on the floor of your lounge room and giving yourself a stretch, or rolling your muscles out on one of those foam rollers. Or it could be as intense as, training for a marathon, whatever floats your boat, because moving your body is so incredibly important when it comes to getting your groove back and to feeling like yourself again. That motion, that movement, that, moving your body through space is so incredibly important. So a little brain dump now whilst I'm talking for you, for what works for you. What could you do in your weekly schedule or in your life at the moment to move your body a little bit more? What is practical? Because of course, it's not always practical for us to pick ourselves up and take ourselves to the gym for 2 hours every morning. It's not always practical for us to get on our bike and ride, 7 kilometers away from our house and our children and the chaos of the morning routine. Think about what is practical and what you can do, because there are so many more options out there now for how you can move your body in ways that would feed your soul. And I'm sure I'm not the only one getting Facebook ads for those trampoline classes. I'm sure I'm not the only ones getting the ads for the Zumba classes. I'm not the only one getting the pole fitness ads and the, fly from the ceiling and loop yourself up in the fabric ads. There's so many different options when it comes to classes and exercise options and things that you can do, some that include you being outside of your house, and some that you can do it from the safety of your own living room where nobody is going to see you jumping around. Marg says, I've gotten into the habit of yoga stretching while the kettle is boiling at 6 a.m. Yes, moving your body. Perfect. That works in with the schedule. You didn't need to book a babysitter to do that stretch while your kettle is boiling. You can do it while they're running around, at your feet, which is perfection. So
yes. It's assuming the toddler isn't awake at that time.
Yes, yes. So I want you to jump in the chat and just put one thing that came to mind when I was saying, there are lots of different things you can try. What came to mind for you? What would you like to try? What if you didn't have to worry about what other people were going to think, or how you were going to make it happen, or what you were going to wear when you had to go to that thing? What came to mind for you? I'd love you to jump in the chat and tell me what that one thing could be. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's brand new that you've never tried before. If you used to be a runner and you love running, then put that in the chat. If you used to love swimming, put swimming in the chat. If you just want to go for a walk around the block, put that in the chat. Whatever works. Barb says, when it's not raining, go for a bike ride to town and back. Yes, my bike is my happy place, Barb. And to tell you the truth, during January, I wasn't on it enough, and you could tell. And it's so good when you can get back on and go, And you said I got a bike ride in last week and it was great. Since then, virtually every day, it's rained every day except for today. It has, true. I noticed that on the way home today. I was looking at those clouds thinking, surely you're going to rain soon. That's what you've been doing all week. Oh, Tanae says an ocean swim once a week. Yes. There's nothing that makes you feel more alive, right? Nothing at all. Mark said, I have a super cute bike. Yes, I do. That's important. If I was going to go to the effort of getting on my bike, literally, it needed to be cute. So I bought one in my brand color in PMPA Ballet School Blue, and I ride it into town with my little basket. It's fabulous. No, you never regret an ocean swim. I do think, Tanae, it's hard to get to drag yourself to the ocean. That's the hard bit. The getting in and then, you never regret it. You absolutely never regret it. But the getting there, for me, takes a lot of mental gymnastics of convincing myself that, yes, I can put on Lycra. Yes, I can get myself down there. Yes, I can get down to the water's edge, and then it's happy days. Mel's back into hockey. Love, and training with a friend 3 mornings a week. That accountability, so important, right? You're not going to leave your friend hanging on the side of the road. You're going to get up and you're going to go. Absolutely. I had a friend who I used to meet at the gym back in the gym days, the same gym that I was telling the story about in New Zealand, and we lived in the same building. And so we would meet at the bottom of the lift, and I would be able to hear when the lift got to his level and was coming down. And if it wouldn't get, like if I couldn't hear the lift moving at a certain time, I'd just go on my own. He did leave me hanging a few times, but it is important to have that accountability. So if you're as part of your brain dump, you're writing down things that you can do to move your body, things that will work with you. Is there someone you want to do that with? Is there someone that you want to, get excited and move your body with? During isolation last year, I loved the Body by Simone app, and I have had a membership for 2 years, but didn't use it as much as I did in isolation. And Kai, one of my teachers who lives downstairs, would come and we would do a class every morning. And it was just joyous being able to do it with someone else and chat all the way through it and comment on the things that were going on and cheer each other on. It just makes it so much better. So I encourage you to find somebody to hold you accountable, find someone to come along on the journey with you if possible, but don't rely on that. Don't rely on having to have someone there in order to start moving your body. It is really, really important to find something that works for you. And then, of course, it has to go somewhere in your calendar. If you're going to make it something regular, that moving of your body, then get your calendar sorted. Get on top of how you're going to make this happen, especially if it's something that you have to leave the house for and you have to make sure that, all of your ducks are in a row to do that. I use Google Calendar mainly because I love the pretty colors and because it has reminders. So it reminds me of where I need to be and when I need to be there. So I encourage you to get your calendar sorted. If you don't already have a great calendar system, then getting a good calendar system to work in with this moving your body regime that you're going to put into practice is so incredibly important. So the takeaway for this strategy is to make a list of all the things that you might like doing to keep your body moving. I know Apple's got a brand new fitness app. I'm sure you get 30 days free or 60 days free or something with your iPhone or on the Apple TV. So reach out, use that if that's something you want to do inside your house. Gym memberships all the time are having buy 6 months, get 3 months free, or, fancy deals that you can take part in. So keep your eyes open and be open to trying new things, because you never know when you're going to find something that you'll fall in love with. I've fallen in love with my Peloton. I know I've gone on about it on the podcast before, but I have a Peloton now. I'm just that fancy, and it's worth every penny because I actually love getting on it and riding, especially the 80s and 90s pop rides. That's my safe space. Circle all the things on your list that you can practically do. Like, it may be great to want to train for a marathon, which would require you to run 12Ks every morning. But if that's not practical as part of your schedule, then, perhaps don't circle it now, put it on your someday maybe list and then start working towards it. And then start by blocking out one thing that you're going to do this week. What is something you're going to do between now, Tuesday, and, maybe Sunday that you can practically do? And don't worry if you don't do it perfectly. Progress over perfection. Just get out there and do it. James Clear, I talked about Atomic Habits before, but he tells this great story about one of the people that he features in the book would drive to the gym when he first started wanting to become a person that went to the gym. He would drive to the gym, get there, sit in the car park for 5 minutes, drive home. He just needed to start the habit doing something that made him believe that he was someone who went to the gym. So for the first week, he just drove there. The second week, he'd drive there, go in, have a look around, get back in the car, go home. And then eventually he got to the point where he was actually working out, which is, useful. But you don't want to go too hard, too fast. You don't want to go from 0 to 100 and then do it for 2 weeks and then, forget everything and end up doing nothing at all. So just start small. And if you need help, of course, you can always shout out. And the final strategy is to have something, a light at the end of the tunnel. It's always good to have something to look forward to. And that picture in front of you is of Burleigh Beach, where I'm heading next week on my family holiday, which has been the light at the end of my tunnel. My family's gone on holidays to Burleigh Head since before I was born. And so this is kind of like the non-negotiable family holiday, which when I was a teenager, I used to be rolling my eyes at really, do we have to go again? And now that I have my own children, and now that, Burleigh is heaven, and I realize that because I have the wisdom of, experience, now I cannot wait. And I absolutely look forward to it all the time. I just picked Lucinda up from dancing before I jumped on this call tonight. And she said, "You know why I love the end of the day, Mum?" I said, "No, darling." And she said, "Because it means we're one day closer to Burleigh." And I was like, yeah, it is. Everybody needs a light at the end of the tunnel. My 8-year-old's got one. What is yours? And what is yours going to be? And if you don't have a burlie, if you don't have the family holiday that is coming up, in a week's time, then I encourage you to find something that will be the light at the end of your tunnel. Thinking about things that you're working towards, some of my favorite things to do is to set some goals. And I'm not talking necessarily right now as part of this session as to, I'm going to increase my revenue by 16%. I'm not talking about those kind of goals. The kind of goals I want you to concentrate on as part of this project is what would make me happy. Would tucking the kids into bed more nights a week make me happy? Would be going on for a walk on the beach make me happy? Would going to New York in the spring make me happy? What are the things that I would really like to have as my light at the end of the tunnel, things that I'm really looking forward to, or things that can be, during the day that you're looking forward to, or during that week that you're looking forward to, or during this year looking forward to, or during the next 5 years. But write down some things now that could be your lights at the end of the tunnel, because I think it's really, really important to have something in the distance that you're working towards. And then I want you to work backwards from there. So let's say New York in the spring is what you're looking forward to, and it could be next spring. What are the things you're going to need to do in order to get yourself there? What are those action steps? You can't just turn around one day and say, well, I'm going to New York. You've got to book tickets. You've got to get your ESTA. You've got to make sure you've had your vaccinations. You've got to make sure that somebody's going to be looking after the kids, or if they're coming along, you've got to make sure you've packed. You've got to make sure that you've earned enough money and saved enough money to be able to go. You've got to make sure you've done your exchanges. There's a whole list of action steps that go along with that light at the end of the tunnel. Have a think about the lights at the end of your tunnel and what are the action steps that are going to get you towards that, because it's those things that are going to keep you motivated. It's those things that are going to give you momentum. And it's those things that are going to really make a big difference when you're not feeling yourself. Having that thing to look forward to is going to make a really, really big difference. So I don't know if any of you want to go to New York in the springtime, but perhaps if you do, you want to jump in the chat and tell me what your light at the end of the tunnel is. Perhaps there's something that came, straight to mind when I was talking about that. Or perhaps it's one of those things that you want to let simmer for a little while. And if so, that's okay. So the tangible takeaway for this strategy is to write down your goals, to figure out what it is that you want to do, and what are those things that are going to be pick-me-ups for you, that whenever you kind of start to feel like you're not quite yourself and like things are a little bit too much, then you have those goals written down so you can come back to that piece of paper and you can, start to get some direction. Figure out those action steps, figure out how you're going to get to that goal, how you're going to get to that light at the end of the tunnel. So you really have something that you are working towards, but you also have a plan of how you're going to get there. It's one thing to say you're going to go to New York in the spring. It's the other thing to actually have to sit on hold to Qantas for 5 hours because you spelt your name wrong when you booked the ticket. And then you've got to make sure that's changed because it's not the same as what's on your passport. And I'm just making that up. That's not actually something that happened at all. Today's written Simply Business Summit already counting down. Yes, we are. The thing is, if you don't have something that you're looking forward to, then it's really, really hard to get that motivation. And sometimes because something is so far off, I want something in between that can kind of be like a bridge on my way to my light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where rewards come in, and rewards are really great. If you get up and move your body, 4 out of the 7 days in next week, perhaps you're going to reward yourself for doing that. If you make sure you've done your time tracking and set yourself out an ideal week, how are you going to reward yourself for that? Are you going to take 10 minutes to yourself to enjoy a Mars bar in the pantry? Are you going to take yourself for a massage? Are you going to, go on a date night with your partner? Is that something that would light you up? Think about the rewards that you can put in once some of those action steps are done on your way to the light at the end of the tunnel. And the same with when we're talking about moving your body, you want to start small. You don't necessarily want to go gung-ho and have 50 goals and 4,000 action steps that go with them and then kick yourself after 2 weeks when it's all fallen apart. Start small. Think of 1 or 2 things and go from there. Mug says, I'm working 6 days a week in Feb and the reward is booking a 2-night hotel. Yes, stay and spa day in March. Yes. That's amazing. That's a fantastic light at the end of your tunnel. Go you. Bob says, I'd like to go to Hawaii again with Laurie in their good season. Yes. Can we just talk about Hawaii? I was talking about Hawaii today because we're going to go to Hawaii next April, Barb. And I'd said that to a friend of mine that I was having coffee with this morning. And they were like, Hawaii? I don't know. Like Hawaii. It's Hawaii. In saying that, though, there are plenty of places that are closer by that are also pretty awesome. But there is something special about Waikiki Beach, especially with that warm water. And when it comes to the goals that you are achieving, then reward yourself when it goes well, but do not punish yourself when it doesn't go as well as you were thinking, because it's really about, making the effort and moving forward. And moving forward can't be underestimated. You don't ever want to be standing still, and you definitely don't want to be going backwards. So even just doing little things to move you closer to that goal. When you don't get, everything on your to-do list done at the end of that week, do not punish yourself. Just give yourself some grace. Know that there's a whole new week to come, and come up with a plan as to how you're going to get there. It's so incredibly, incredibly important. How are we feeling? We've got a bit of a plan. Excellent. All right, 3 minutes to put together a big brain dump of all the things swirling through your head, to make your own plan, to figure out what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you. 3 minutes was the time that I chose because I had a song picked out, but of course I'm not going to sing for you, and we're musicless. So I'm not going to give you that long because I can't actually be quiet for 3 minutes. That's pretty much why. So I'll give you a minute and a half to do your brain dump and to come up with your plan. And then of course there'll be a little bit more time after we get off the call for you to finish that plan off if you need a little bit more time. I'm going to have a sip of my water. Get planning. How did we go? Who's feeling good about their plan? Give me a double thumbs up. Or a little heart. Almost. Love. As I said, it's not the kind of session tonight where you're going to get all the answers and you're going to be able to go, yep, good, click your fingers, everything's fine, I'm good to go. Let's go at it. This is going to be a slow burn. This is going to simmer over a couple of days. And hopefully, as I said, you'll get to the other side of it and you'll go, oh, actually, I'm feeling good. So in summation, ask for help. Don't feel like you have to do all of this alone. Don't feel like you have to do things the way you've always done them before. Don't feel like you have to do things the way that you should be doing. That seems to follow us around. You can write your own story. You can write your own ideal week. You can write exactly what that's going to look like for you. And then you can action it and make it actually happen. Make it a reality, not just something that you are working on as part of a workshop with me. Reach out to people. There are people everywhere that are going through the same thing as you. Even if you want to, carpool children after school with one other parent 1 day a week, it's going to make a massive difference to you. So I really encourage you to reach out and to figure out where those pockets of time are and where those fabulous people are. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I encourage you to move your body, find something that works for you, find something that gets you excited, whether that's something that you've done in the past, or whether it's something brand new that you're going to try. Moving your body daily. There's, I can go on and on about all the health benefits, but the mental health benefits of moving your body, I think, are so incredibly important when it comes to this topic. And have a light at the end of the tunnel. Have something that you're looking forward to. Get excited about what that is. Figure out what the action steps that are going to get you there. Reward yourself for doing the hard work to get there, and then go and enjoy all of that hard work. And what you'll notice when you start making changes is that your mood will start to pick up. You will start to be able to manage the things that you have to do on a daily basis a whole lot better. You will start to feel a lot better, start to feel like yourself. And hopefully these are strategies that you can go back to and refer to when you start feeling yourself getting a bit because who knows how long this season is going to go for. And if you have those tools in your tool belt that you can reach out and grab anytime, then it's going to put you in a really good spot. Join our Facebook group if you want tips, if you want support, if you want people who are there, going through the same thing that you are. Sometimes it's good just to know that you're not alone. And you can do that in our Facebook group, How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. I would love you to join us. And if you want to join us for the ultimate light at the end of the tunnel, Tanae said she was looking forward to it because, of course, she's booked her ticket. But we are heading to the Simply Business Summit at the end of June and start of July at the gorgeous Pullman Sea Temple in Palm Cove. This is what it looks like at night. It looks even better in the daytime. And I'm hoping that you can picture yourself sitting there on one of those gorgeous poolside lounges. Of course, we're not going to be doing all the learning around the lounge. The summit itself is going to be in one of the conference rooms, but there will be plenty of time for you to go and lounge by the pool, to get yourself a cocktail and to have some time for yourself. The ultimate light at the end of the tunnel, one that is going to include not just downtime for you to rest and rejuvenate, but also time for you to focus on growing your business and focus on the things that you need to do in your business in order to fuel that growth and to get those results that you are after. But you're going to be surrounded by other people who are doing the same, and you're going to be given an opportunity to be able to really nut out how you can make that possible. It's not going to be the kind of conference that you go to where it's just going to be all lofty ideas and all things that, would be great if you could make them happen. It's going to be practical. It's going to be tactical. We're going to be talking through and working through ways in which to really change up the things that you're doing in your business, to do all those things that you feel like you should be doing, to be working on your business in that time intensively, and to step away from working in your business, to actually get yourself out, to get yourself in a different headspace, in a different mind space, so that you can make those big changes and really see the results that you are after. So many of us work so hard in our own small businesses, we don't often take the time to be able to reward ourselves for that. And the Simply Business Summit is going to be the perfect opportunity to do that. It's 3 days. It's rejuvenation. It's also inspiration, and it's going to be expert advice. And you're going to be there with other women in business. There's going to be time to refill your cup, but also to work on your business. You're going to get guidance from experts who have been where you are, who are also in the trenches, who are working hard, and who also know what they need to do to grow their business, and will help you know what you need to do to grow your business and to help you work on that as well. And you'll get that reassurance that you're actually on the right track. You'll be able to share stories with other like-minded women who are doing what you're doing, and figure out ways in which, they are succeeding, and be able to, take that and make that part of your recipe, add those tools to your tool belt, so that, the timing of it is not, is really specific. We didn't kind of just go, when do you want to go to Palm Cove? Anytime. We did it in the middle of the year because so many of us lose momentum. We start the year knowing what we need to do with our business and going, we're going to make changes and this is going to happen and we're going to reach these targets. And by the time the middle of the year comes, we feel a little bit wrung out. So the Simply Business Summit is going to be a really perfect opportunity to get that, kick of motivation through, to take you through till the end of the year. We're going to be talking about business vision. You're going to be, working through your mission and your vision and your values, and how that's going to practically, turn over into your business and to the day-to-day running of your business. We'll be doing some goal setting. We're going to be doing some intensive sessions on marketing and messaging, making sure that you are connecting with your target audience, making sure you're reaching all of those customers that could really be coming and buying from you, and mastering the message that's going out there. So many of us are working hard to put message after message, content after content out into the space, but are we actually using the correct messages that are actually going to mean that the people who we want to hear from us are actually going to hear and understand, and therefore go ahead and become our customers. If there's going to be time for self-care, whether that's, joining in the sunrise yoga session or having a glass of wine or a cocktail by the pool, there'll be definitely time for you. And there's going to be some intensive work on your finances and profitability from whatever stage you're at in business. You don't necessarily have to be making a certain amount of money or doing a certain amount of turnover in order for the information you're going to be learning to be relevant to you. It's going to be there. You're going to be able to set your own goals to make sure that those goals are going to get you towards living the lifestyle that you deserve and that you work so hard for. I really hope you can join us. The Simply Business Summit is happening, as I said, the very end of June and the start of July, smack bang in the middle of the year. It runs into the school holiday. So if you want to go up for a couple of days and then have your family join you later, and you can all then sit by the pool or go ahead and jump in the beach, then absolutely do so. You can secure your spot today with a deposit of $297, and you can do that at simplystacymorgan.com. Lots of people have already purchased their tickets as part of the early bird pricing. We've got one of those left. If you would like to grab it, then you can do that tonight. And the Simply Business Summit, as I said, is going to be an event where you're going to be surrounded. It's an event where you're going to be empowered, and it's going to be hopefully one of those experiences that really has a big transformational aspect for you as part of your lifestyle, but as well as for your business. That could be you. I love that image. I love those down, like this place is just absolutely gorgeous, but they have these like rooms that are right down like that. Those deck chairs are part of somebody's room, and they can step out of the room onto the deck chair into the pool. Can you cope? Of course, going ahead and booking your own accommodation you can do, and you can book whichever room you like. You can be in a tiny hotel suite, or you can be in the fanciest of fancy. But just so you know, if you're booking one of those ones, I'm coming to visit you. Any questions from today's session? This is now your chance to jump in and tell me what you think you're going to work with. Ask me any questions about what worked for me or what didn't work for me, or anything that I went through tonight that was unclear that you would like to double check and get some clarification on, because I do talk very fast. And so perhaps there were some things that we skipped over that you went, what was she talking about? Hang on a second. What was that? So let me know if I missed anything. You can either unmute yourself and jump on, or you can jump in the chat and then I'll repeat it out to everyone. Thanks, Barb, for being here. I love that you came and that you put your camera on at the end. Well, not the end, but I didn't just get to look at your gorgeous profile photo. I got to look at your gorgeous face. So thank you for being here. Margs, Miss Mel, anything you're going to share? Anything you're going to be implementing? Sorry to put you on the spot. Don't make eye contact. That's the key. Don't let me catch you looking at me. I can see Mel's typing. Great to have a starting point. The 3 steps. Yes. You don't have to do it all tomorrow. Just work your way through it slowly and you'll get there eventually. I so appreciate you being here and taking the time. I appreciate you acknowledging that this is a hard time, not just for you, but for a lot of people, a lot of women. Be kind to yourself. Understand that some of those customers that are coming through your door or that are sending you emails have their own stuff that's going on as well, that's perhaps not in any way reflective of you and the great job that you are doing. So give yourself some grace, take some time, have a look at your schedule, figure out where those pockets of time are, jump off the couch and stop scrolling socials, and figure out where you really want to consciously spend that time in order to fill up your cup and to have you feeling like yourself again. I so appreciate you being here. At any point you want to reach out, of course, you can reach me at simplystacymorgan.com. Tickets to the summit are there, simplystacymorgan.com/summit. I would love you to join us. It's going to be a good time. You can always email me at hello@simplystacymorgan.com, or you can reach out and send me a DM on Instagram as well. Loved interacting with you too, Barb. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate you all. Take care. And if you're watching the recording, please reach out. I'd love to know what your takeaways are and what you're going to be doing and sharing with yourself and the people around you in order to make things happen. Have a good night.